The Cleveland Guardians have made a pretty big signing. They have signed first baseman Josh Bell to a 2-year deal worth $33 million. It's a big deal. Bell obviously was great for the Nationals last year, got traded to the Padres in a Juan Soto deal, struggled in San Diego, but this is a big ad for the Guardians. What does it bring to the Guardians? What does it bring for Josh Bell? We're going to cover that right here on Bleach Balls. We don't want to hold you up. My name is Derek. Let's get straight into it, obviously. First things first, um, it's a signing for Cleveland. They saw, I think their team, the ownership is going to see that this team was good last year, and they realized that, and they're going to go, okay, well, let's spend a little bit of money trying to get this team better. The really good Cleveland teams from like 2016 or whatever, they still spent some money. They didn't have a payroll as low as they did last year, and it was a very young team last year. I think Cleveland is a team, and I kind of started thinking this a little bit in my head, like they're gonna start spending a little bit of money, kind of here and there, to bring in a couple of guys and add to their team and make their team better. And I think Josh Bell will do that. I think he'll end up DHing for them. They do have Josh Naylor at first, but Josh Bell, switch hitter. When he's on, brings a really good pop to the lineup. With the Nationals this year in 103 games before he got traded to the Padres, he was hitting 301. Yeah, 301, had 14 homers, an 877 OPS, which was a 153 OPS plus. Like, he was crazy good. Then we went to the Padres, slowed down, only 192 average, only 3 homers in 53 games, just a 75 OPS plus. It wasn't a fit in San Diego. Cleveland could be a fit for him. For Josh Bell, I hope it is. Switch hitter, can hit from both sides of the plate well. When he's on, I mean, we saw it in 2019. He had a 142 OPS plus over the course of the season. 37 homers, 37 doubles that year. Even 2021, overall over the course of the season, 261 average with 24 doubles, 27 homers. This year, 128 OPS overall, 29 doubles, only the 17 homers. You'd like that number to be a little bit higher. 266 average, 362 on base, which was a jump from 2021. That was nice to see. But the slugging percentage down to 422, a lot of that due to his time with the Padres, where he only slugged 271. He still had a 316 on base with the Padres, though. I will say that. Even though he only hit 192, so like he was still getting on base, but it's not what you wanted from Josh Bell. You're looking for kind of that happy medium between Washington and San Diego, and if you can get the Washington performance, great. It does have an opt out, I'm pretty sure, after the first year, so that's interesting to see how that will play out. But I think overall for Cleveland, looking at Cleveland's team, I think, they could have used a bat. I mean, we saw it in the Rays series. They scored 3 runs in that series in 2 games, and like the second game they needed what was it, 15 innings to score. I think that just kind of shows where they are. Like, they needed a bat. Josh Bell should provide that bat. Like I said, I think he'll end up DHing, but he can also place them first. So if any injuries happen to like a Josh Naylor, you can always put him at first base. So no problem with that either. The only other thing I would say is, just this makes too much sense for me, right? In the sense of, like, we saw them go after Jose Abreu. As soon as I saw Cleveland go after Jose Abreu, I was like, okay, like, this makes too much sense to not do it, right? It makes too much sense for Cleveland to not now try and flip to like a guy like Josh Bell, because he's also first baseman. He's probably going to DH, just like Jose Abreu probably would have in Cleveland. It just felt like it made too much sense, right? And they got their guy now. I think he'll fit very well in the middle of that lineup. I'm not sure how the ballpark will play to him. But that I don't know how it will, but hopefully it'll be friendly for his sake, for Josh Bell's sake. And I'm pretty sure it's his. And yeah, I am right on. It's his first. It'll be his first time playing for an American League team too. So he'll get to face a bunch of new pitchers probably that he hasn't faced for the most part. So that could bring either interesting challenges where maybe struggles a little bit, or he could excel against them because they haven't faced him either. That'll be interesting. Although it is a more balanced schedule this year, so you are playing literally everyone this year. But overall, I think it's a good signing for the Guardians. It's a good signing for Josh Bell. 2 years, $33 million. I mean, that's 16.5 per year. And he also has an opt out after the first year if he goes crazy, like he did for the first half of the year in Washington. That's like a great deal for Josh Bell. And I think, you look at what the Padres are losing at first and Josh Bell. Well, actually, the DH spot, they weren't even playing him at first base for the most part. But you can see that the Padres, they have some positional questions, like where does Tatis play when his suspension's done? Ha-Sung Kim probably sticks at short, so does Tatis play the outfield? Do you leave the DH spot open for someone like him? Probably got to put him in the field. So that DH spot's open for the Padres. Who do they target? They offered Trey Turner and a $342 million deal. So do they spend money? Where is that money going to be spent potentially? It's very interesting to see where it could end up for this Padres team. And that's why when I look at it, I go, I don't know where it's going to land for the Padres. And then obviously, though, to wrap this thing up, though, with Cleveland, they got their guy. Cannot complain. He should add some protection for Jose Ramirez in the lineup. That's another big thing. Both of them switch hitters as well. So I think that's the big thing too. You're giving protection to Jose Ramirez in that lineup. Because you're looking at that lineup, you see, you have Steven Kwan, Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, and then Josh Naylor hitting behind him. You go and get, Josh Bell to hit behind Jose Ramirez, and then you can put maybe Naylor. You also have Oscar Gonzalez, and then it kind of pushes the guys like Andres Jimenez, pushes him back a spot in the lineup. Where Andres Jimenez, was like 6th in MVP voting or something like that. Like, he's gonna. I know he's very good defensively. He was still solid at play though. Don't get me wrong. Andres Jimenez in the 7th spot's ridiculous. Is what I'm getting at. So it just adds more depth to the Cleveland lineup and gives them protection. And they need runs because their pitching staff will keep them in any game pretty much, especially if they get to the postseason. That pitching staff will keep them in the game. They just got to score. Josh Bell will help them do that. And overall, I think it's a good signing for Cleveland. But that's a good place to wrap it up. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the signing for both Cleveland and Josh Bell? I think it's good for both. Make sure to check all the links in the description, the Bleacher Brawls website, podcast, Instagram, and Twitter, plus all the Crew's Twitters. I actually had a Red Sox column go up today on the Bleacher Brawls website. So if you have the time, if you want to, please check that out. That'd be greatly appreciated. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post. 2 videos a week, plus any free agent signings and trades, all that cool stuff. We're going to be covering it. So get ready for that. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming out, covering free agency, covering any big trades that happen. So stay tuned to Bleacher Brawls. Keep your eyes on it. That's a great place, though. We're going to wrap this thing up, finish this thing up. My name's Derek. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.